Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 209 of the Well Done Life podcast. Well, hello, welcome back to episode 209 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I hope that you will stay for a very long time. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. I wouldn't be on this journey without you, and I'm so glad that you've been a part of it for such a long time. Before we get started with this week's episode, I like to be really foundational. It's very important to me that everyone who comes across us gets an opportunity to understand what this safe space is about. And I do call it a safe space because I feel like I treat it like a house and I really make sure that my foundation is strong. So there's two main things that I use to create this space, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just like to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast and brand is something that I created for women because I believe in the power of women. I believe that we need spaces where we can be our most authentic self, where we can share and learn from each other. I'm really a proponent of no matter how much the world may try to make you believe that there are differences between us because of skin color and all those things. And yes, they do make us different. Our uniqueness is in the fact that a lot of us are living very similar lives. A lot of the experiences that we have gone through, we are going to go through, and you're going to go through in one form or another. And I really feel like one of the things that can help women thrive overall is having spaces where we can talk about our experiences and where we can learn about each other, where we can be inspired, where we can share, where we can grow. So that's what we do here in this space. For me, it has been about sharing my story authentically. I'm not going to pretend I don't know it all, and I haven't always made the best decisions, but I can tell you from the trueness of my heart that one of the reasons why I do this, why I share my story, is because I don't want you to go through some of the things that I've went through. I want you to be able to do it differently. I want you to, in some instances, be inspired because maybe you are in that season where you've made a mistake and you're feeling kind of low and tough, or you're going through a season, because we all go through seasons, no matter how much we might like to try to act like it's all perfect. It's not. And so I want you to see that you can make it through, because I've been through darkness and I found light, and I always want to make sure that I project that light out, because that's part of my promise to God, that if He spared me, I would share my journey. So that's why I share my journey, and as well as I love to amplify other women's journey, because that gives you an opportunity to see it. There are so many different resources out in the community, so many women stepping outside of themselves on faith and fear and just doing it because they believe in the power of us as well. So that's what this space is about. I hope you will be inspired. I hope you will feel safe. I hope you will feel encouraged to be your best self and to share it, because community is key, especially in moments like this. And it is just so important that you give yourself the space and the healing to be able to be your most authentic self and celebrate you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So welcome. And then that leads me into my other favorite thing, which is love. I'm a sucker for love. Love is the thing. And I always like to make sure that everything we do in this space is rooted in love. And with that, I like to make sure that every week I share prayers, because I truly believe that prayers are magnified when two or more people come together. And I know I'm not the only one out here praying for us to get it together, Lord. I really do believe that we are all in that vein right now. And so I like to make sure that I share my prayers with you, because that is my love for you. Hopefully on fire, and hopefully it makes you feel that you are really seen and valued. So this week, I definitely am going to keep it on with peace. I've been standing on business about peace for a hot minute as the number one prayer, and I definitely feel like I need to. It is February the 1st that I'm recording this, but the fact that we have made it through January, that in itself, and had a little shred of our sanity left, definitely shows the power of claiming peace. So I pray that you are claiming peace over yourselves, over your family, over your friends, just over your whole atmosphere going into this beautiful month of February. It is one of my favorite months because it is my birthday month, but it's also Black History Month. I mean, there is just so much love in this month. This is the month of love. So I hope that that is going to translate into the atmosphere, and we're going to have a better month, because January was the most Januariest January I have ever seen in my life. And I'm just grateful to be on the other side of it with my little bit of mind intact. So I am just sending prayers of peace as we go into February, that she will be kind to us. It will be loving. It is the month of balance and water and emotion and feeling, and it will give us all the love and support and nourishment that we need in this time. So definitely, I am rooting out with peace. And since it is the month of love, I have to root out in love. I want you to be surrounded this month in love. I want you to feel love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I want to make sure that you are also being a beacon of love for those people in your life, in your community, that mean so much to you. We really need to look at the power of community during this time. Like in this time, we need to make sure our clique is tight. You do not have time for false friends, for fakery on any level, false relationships. You need people who are real in your corner. So please make sure that you kind of evaluate where you are with people, but evaluate where you are with yourself as well. Make sure you are speaking lovingly over yourself. Like I said, we all made mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. And I know one of the things that I have had to work so hard at is self-talk and being able to speak to myself in a loving way. So I am praying that you are able to have that talk with yourself and make sure that you are constantly affirming you, that you are being kind and loving to you, because sometimes we are our harshest critics and we have to stop that. The world is already harsh enough. Why would you bring harshness into yourself? You don't deserve that. Remember, we're in the season of we deserve it all. So if we deserve it all, we have to claim that type of energy over ourselves. We have to speak that. So this month, I want you to speak that. I want you to be the love that you desire to have. Be that love and manifest it out, and find love and joy when you are dealing with people, because people need it. Everybody's acting like they got it together, like the world isn't on fire a little bit, and trying to keep going. And that's what we all do, because we got to make it. We got to get through. But we all have to understand that we need a little love. And it's okay to be loved. It's okay to be empathetic. It's okay to be caring. It's okay to be nurturing, especially to those people that surround you all the time in positive energy, support, and encouragement and love. Make sure you are loving them back the way that they love you. So I am claiming for us peace and love going into this next month. And then also in this month of February, I am claiming that we have clarity. I think clarity is very important in times like this, especially because, there is a lot happening. If it's anything like January, things can come in a rapid fire pace, and it can be a moment of confusion. And in those moments of confusion, you have to take a moment to center, take a moment to breathe, take a moment to see things as they need to be seen, because there are so many different truths out here and you have to be able to see it, or you can be blinded and spoon-fed information. This is not the time to be spoon-fed. This is the time where maybe you sit down and center yourself, where you look at things for what they are, where you listen, and you listen to understand, not just listen to hear people talking to you. Listen to understand, be very clear about that. Be clear about the information that you're taking in. Be clear about the information that you're putting out. Clarity is a very centering thing. And so you want to make sure that you are giving yourself the space to be very clear about who you are, what you desire, what type of boundaries you need in order for you to be able to move forward in the best version of yourself. Because again, in moments of chaos, it can kind of keep you going all over the place. But when you make it your priority to be clear, you allow yourself to be centered and to be rooted into what is true and factual and what aligns with your values and your boundaries. That is the type of life that we need right now so that we can stay centered and focused. Because again, just trying to move based upon the chaos, it's like calling squirrel and you just see people just kind of going to the left, going to the right, going all over the place. Find centering, find that clarity in the truth and sit in it. And as the great Maya Angelou always said, when people show you who they are, believe them. The days of excuses have long gone. So, like I said, I am praying for you to have peace, to have love, and to have clarity. And I am also finally wrapping this prayer up with rest, because rest is resistance. To rest, to not pressure yourself to do everything, is a form of resistance. It's a resistance in the sense that you are prioritizing your self-love, that you are allowing yourself to have space to be clear, that you are allowing yourself to be in a space where you can have love. Give yourself the rest that you need. It is so easy in moments of chaos to constantly feel like you have to do all the things. You don't have to do all the things. You just need to do what works best in this moment, what aligns best with your value center and what you need to do. No one is requiring you to do anything other than that. And if anyone is, you might need to look at why are they asking you to do that, and evaluate if their motives align with your values or not, and then make decisions accordingly. Because again, you are the most important thing. And what aligns with your values, your spirit, your heart, your energy, your faith is what needs to be centered at all times. So those are my prayers for you this week. And like I said, I'm recording on Saturday, February the 1st. I'm so grateful. Again, I keep having to say it, that we have made it to February. It has been a wild ride. And so I'm very excited to be at this month. And I am just grateful to be in this space where I can sit down and record and speak with you guys again. I want to thank everyone before I jump into this week's episode for their support of last week's episode 208. It's okay to pivot. It's okay. You're going to survive. That's really, where I kind of was talking about a major pivot that I have done in regards to my health. And I feel really good about it. Like, I have to admit, pivoting and having the strength to do it has really helped root me, has helped me get so clear. And it just definitely has aligned with what I have going on in my life. So I'm telling you all those things to say that if there's something that you feel a sense in your life that you need to pivot away from, don't be afraid to make the shift, because it'll be all right. And if it's not, remember, you can always pivot back. That's the great thing. Like, we have the power of changing our minds. So don't be afraid to change your mind. Don't be afraid to change your life. Do what is right for you. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, I will make sure it is linked in the show notes. But this week, I'm back with a new one. And I really want to kind of come on briefly to talk with you guys, because again, it is the 1st of February. It's new energy, and I'm so excited. And going into this new energy, I kind of want to share something that helped me actually get through the chaos of January. And I have decided that I think it might need to be one of my words of 2025, or a phrase for 2025, because really that's what I keep in feeling like it's a phrase for me. It's going to be a part of my life. And I want to talk about the power in finding joy. And I really want to ask you guys a rhetorical question. What have you done today to find joy? Yeah. What's one thing that you did today to find joy? And I hope in this moment that I said that it's made you kind of ask yourself, you know what? Wow, what have I done today for joy, finding joy? And what does finding joy for me look like? Because the reason I started that is because in January, I mean, we all have survived it. January was a January. It was the Januariest January I have ever seen. And, in that moments of chaos, and I really wound up finding myself asking myself often, what have I done to find joy today? Really, because January started off crazy for me. Like, just day one, it was crazy, and it was crazy all the way through, and it just kind of ebbed and flowed with craziness, especially coupling in what was going on in the world. And every day I wound up having to ask myself, what have I done today to find joy? And for me, I have recognized that joy does not take a lot of grand grandness. Like, I am finding joy in the smallest things. For me, finding joy is actually in having a protein matcha. Yes, that's finding joy. Or sitting in my bed an extra 15, 20 minutes, taking a bath with my favorite bath gel. Making sure that I have on scented body jelly from my friend Katie, who I love. Her. I shared with you guys her rose gold body jelly. She has like this scalp hair body jelly, or scalp body hair and body jelly. I don't even know why I'm stumbling over that. But anyway, this wonderful, amazing jelly that smells like sugar cookies, and it's my favorite. And I love it. And I wore that can out. Like, I had a can, and I'm actually going to see her tomorrow, and I'm going to get another couple of cans because I wore that can out. Like, smelling good gave me joy. Those little things gave me joy. And so I found myself using those moments of joy and asking myself, what have I done on a daily basis to find joy, especially in the midst where the world started to just get crazy? Because I have previously been the person that when the world starts getting crazy, I'll be honest, I get scared. I really do. Like, I think back to especially like during when January 6th happened and all those things, and the world was just on fire. And I remember breaking down because I was scared. And I'll be honest, I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but it didn't feel crazy to me because I was at that point a single Black woman caring for a 70-plus-year-old elderly Black woman who's blind, and a 40-plus-year-old Black woman who has a developmental disability. And it's just the three of us trying to make it. And what can happen? I think about that like, I'm the head of my household, and that's how I was feeling in that moment. And, we were trying to navigate through COVID and all these things. It was just emotions were raw. And I'm like, I got to make it. I got to figure this all out. And so I got scared. And I think from those points, I've carried the trauma of all of that into where I am now. I'm very grateful, though, along the way, obviously, like, I'm back in therapy, and that kind of helps center me so that I don't feel the weights. Because as you guys know, I go to therapy to deal with limiting behavior, limiting thoughts, because I get nervous. Like, I can't do certain things because of, I have responsibilities, or I'm not capable. It's really all ties to my self-worth. And I'm very grateful to be on a season where I have a lot of that negative talk in check. But for a lot of us as single moms or caregivers or head of households, and I would even think even as wives in marriage, you look at what's going on, especially I could imagine if you have children, and you feel these fears just reaching up into you as you see all of these things happening in the world. And it can be paralyzing. It can grip you and just consume you. And you are expected to keep going out here and working a job and doing all the things because life is still lifing. And all while you're processing all this trauma and trying to navigate through the day. But where are you finding moments for lightness? Because light still exists in a lot of darkness. I mean, laughter, joy. And so I realized last month that I'm like, you know what? I need to make sure that every day I find a moment to prioritize joy. And I do. I don't care what's going on. I make sure that I have a moment to find joy. And so that joy, like I said, it can come in little things. I mean, even to the point that can be like me getting in to get a Peloton ride and watching a great program and doing a good amount of miles and really pushing myself. I find joy in my physical fitness. But it's like, again, shifting my mindset away from all of the negativity and shifting my mindset to making sure that my priority goal is to not just survive and thrive, but to actually find joy in the midst of all the madness. So that's why I wanted to do this episode, because I wanted to hopefully share my experiences and my thoughts, no matter how frazzled they may feel and sound, to help you maybe think about asking yourself, how are you finding joy? Because joy is something that has to still exist. We still have to laugh. We still have to find moments where we can be just truly at rest in peace and enjoy ourselves, because we don't want to say years later that we gave all of our life to the struggle and we never found joy in it, because there's memories to still be made. There is laughter to still have. There's adventures to still have. And we have to find a way to have it. And so that means that we have to prioritize it. And what does that look like, especially, in the season of constant news, constant social media, everything? And like I said, for me, and I think I've only talked about it like a little bit, I have kind of scaled back my social media usage. I definitely still scroll here and there, but I don't spend as much time on it as I was, because I'm not going to pretend. I think like during the election and everything, like I was spending some time on social media and looking at my usage. I'm like, I'm spending a very exorbitant amount of time getting information and being engaged on socials. And it's not necessarily in a negative way, because I don't really get into all that, but just the amount of information that you're consuming, you're wearing yourself down, or I felt like I was wearing myself down. And I recognize that as I am trying to prioritize joy and navigate all the craziness in the world, I have to preserve the energy that I have. And so for me, preserving the energy means that, yeah, I'll do a quick check in the morning on social media, but I'm not spending a whole bunch of time during the day going back, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but in between meetings, you'll be up in there scrolling, looking, checking out the scene. Then you just all of a sudden cut it off, get back to work, and just scroll back again when you have a break. It can be that super addictive. And I just have found myself in times now more so just putting my phone down for an extended block of time. And I find that when I do that, I'm just better equipped to be able to handle what I face. And I also I only go on to different news sites every once in a while. I just look a little CNN. I look here at the Orlando Sentinel. I look here at MSNBC, and I just go boom, 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 boom. A couple of quick hits, snapshots of information, because I just don't want to be caught up. I'm just going to be clear about it. I don't want to be caught up. It gets aggravating. And then I need to also, because my mind is in this series of let me fact check some of this stuff. So, I'm going to be a big C-SPAN person. I'll have to admit, I really enjoy that kind of stuff, especially as it relates to political commentary, because I want to hear the people say it versus being told what they said. I don't really care for that. And so I find myself just kind of scaling and just prioritizing what little bit of information I want to know at this particular point in time, researching things, listening to it in blocks, and then I'm done. And I don't really engage in as much political conversation as I used to. I still will, and I still do, but I have to admit, I'm not going back and forth with a bunch of people I don't know on the internet in reference to political commentary, because a lot of times, that's bot traffic, or it's just someone looking to be attention seeking, and I'm not really with it. So, I'm very clear in regards to my political values or my moral values, my values in general, not necessarily even in regards to politics. And so I'm definitely one of those people. I'm more inclusive than exclusive. I just want to let people live their life and do their thing. I don't care what country you came from, any of that, because I think that we are placing entirely too much focus on where people came from and not valuing the contributions that people are making to keeping this country going. And so I'm respectful of people. You're respectful of me. I'm respectful of you. And I would never try to oppress anyone. And I don't really support anyone who would oppress anyone outright. So that's just me. Like I said, my political views, very nutshell kind of thing. And I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm an independent. I gave up aspiring for either one of those a while ago. So that's not my thing. But I have typically lean to vote Democratic as of these latter elections because they weren't the ones trying to take us back to the 60s. But that's a whole nother conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of my political soapbox because I easily want to go on. And just in case anyone ever were to question my intelligence in reference to political issues and history, I have a dual degree in political science and public administration. So that is where that desire comes from. So let me back down. I just like to be clear because, in these days and times, of course, you have to be clear. But again, we are not talking about that. We are talking about finding joy. And so for me, finding joy is being very selective in regards to my social media usage and my media content consumptions. And I think for a lot of us, that is probably going to have to be how it is as we are moving through these times. And I'm just here to say that you should not feel guilty about that. Again, prioritizing your peace and prioritizing your joy is always going to supersede everything. But at the same time, I do believe you have to stay knowledgeable. I'm resting, but I'm also very aware and very alert. And so that's just how I have decided to handle this time. But again, my main priority every day is asking myself, how do I find joy? And joy doesn't just relate to how I navigate on a personal level. I've actually integrated it into my professional life. I have a team and I support them. And I'm very honest in asking them, how are you guys prioritizing joy, especially in seasons of change? Because change doesn't just happen in the world. Change is happening for many of us on a corporate level or on a professional level, whatever that looks like for you. And in those seasons where it's uncertain, where you are learning new tasks and skills, it's creating anxiety and stressors. And you have to, even in those moments, prioritize finding joy, finding positive things in the work, and finding things that just help get you through the day, help get you through the change. And that's why I think it is, again, just one of those things where finding joy or prioritizing the power of it is going to be key in these next few years, because that is what we're living. We are living in a time of change. We're on the precipice of something new, be it positive, be it negative. We don't know, but I think we are all intelligent enough to feel the changes that are coming. And so we have to, even in the midst of it all, still prioritize joy. We still have to find a way to laugh. We still have to find a way to enjoy life, to live, because we can't give all of this chaos, all of our attention, time, and memories. We still have families and loved ones and moments to create and to savor. And so allow those things to be your focus. The world will be the world, and things are going to happen. And there's going to be times where we're going to have to get out here and get back into the world, get back into the fight, do all those things. But at the same time, never forget that ultimately you deserve it all, that you deserve a wonderful life, that you deserve to have joy. And I hope that you will take moments where you can sit down and breathe, where you can find joy, be it through books, through travel, through television programs, through exercising, whatever speaks to your passions. And I really think that this is a time to dive into the passions. I have to admit, I've got this bug. I saw a post on social media and I couldn't believe somebody else was thinking the same line that I was. Like, they were saying that they kind of felt like, wow, they might want to go back to school, get some more education. And I have to admit, I've kind of felt the bug myself. I've been looking at a few things. I'm not ready to talk about it just yet, but just some things that I've been thinking about. And I had been talking to my love about it, saying, I don't know, maybe I might want to get some certifications or something. I just feel the desire to keep learning. And I have to admit, sometimes that happens in moments of stress for me. I want knowledge. I want to learn new things. It keeps me sharp and focused. I love to learn. And I think that is something that's, again, a part of the joy in me and also helps strengthen me. Tap into those things that make you passionate. Tap into those things that give you joy. And if it is going back for a certification, doesn't mean that you have to go back for another degree, even though I have to admit that it's totally on my mind. I still think about the fact that, this is a season where we should all be learning. We shouldn't be afraid to receive new information. It can only strengthen us for the future. It can only inspire us. It can only enlighten us. And we deserve all of those things. And just imagine where the journey could take you. Tap into all of those things, because all of those things are part of finding joy. Because when you are enlightened, when you are engaged, you have a tendency to be joyful. And so if you feel that pull, it may be a sign that your joy is right there and it's just waiting for you to stretch, to try something different, to think a different way. Don't be afraid to think a different way. Don't be afraid to pull on yourself. Don't be afraid to go for what you want, because remember, you deserve it all. And even in the midst of chaos, you still deserve it all. So I hope you will, give yourself the space to do that. And so, yes, that is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the process of finding joy, because joy is what got me through January. And I have a feeling joy is probably going to get me through February as well. I'm really excited, like I said, about this month because it is the birthday month. I'm going to see another rotation. Praise the Lord. I'm claiming it in advance on around the sun. I'll be 52 this year, and I'm really excited about my 52nd rotation. It feels different, but it feels good. And so I'm really excited about that upcoming rotation. The podcast will be turning 5. Can you believe we will have been here doing this together for 5 years? I cannot believe it. I'm very excited about that. And I have to figure out what I want to do special for that, because I kind of let it creep up on me and I hadn't thought about it. But now I'm just thinking about it yeah, that's a big deal too. 52 and 5 together. So it's a big time, lots of 5. So we'll have to celebrate that. But at the same time, also, it is a month of love. And it is a moment of history, Black history. Even though I'm Black 365 days a year. So I'm Black history all the time. But I also want to celebrate my ancestors and think about my family, because I'm very honest to say that I wouldn't be the woman that I am without being a product of the Black women and men in my family who went before me, who, if I think about it, I'm walking on their backs on all of the struggle that they overcame in order for me to be able to do the things that I do. And I think about that all the time. I'm just so grateful, because I've told y'all before, in my family with my mother and father, I am the first of their children who was born with all of their civil rights intact. And I think about that as a first generation child born with all of their civil rights intact. And, I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but that is something powerful. And I think about that, all the things that my parents had to endure, all the things their parents had to endure and their parents before them. And to be at this point, I'm very grateful to be the woman that I am. And I will always stand proud for my family, for the prayers that I am riding on, because yes, I can't come from a long line of praying Black women and Black men. And I am very grateful to have that grace and mercy over my life all the time. And I am truly, truly blessed for it. And so I know that the work must continue. And so I will always stand firm in my truth, in my history, in my family, and be very grateful for everything, because my family came from very humble beginnings. And I'm very grateful to be in a season like this and to see this level of life. 52 is very special. It's going to be special. So I'm very excited to welcome it. I'm not there yet, so let me not, rush it. I'm very happy to welcome it, and to welcome it hopefully in my right mind, and fully healthy, taking care of myself out here, doing what I need to do on best levels. So I'm just giving up gratitude as well for this month. So we have a lot to talk about over the course of this month. It is a shorter month, but I've already got some things planned for you. So I'll be back next week with a new episode. I'm really excited. I normally never preview content before I send it, but I'm going to go ahead and preview it. Next week's episode is Dr. Hill. So if there's anyone out here who is very curious about weight loss and wanting to learn more about my journey and how maybe this journey might be something that you might need to do, check out next week's episode, because Dr. Hill and I had a great conversation. So I'm very excited to share that with you guys as well. And I just, again, want to thank you guys for everything that you have done to get us to this point. Like I said, we are almost 5 years old, and this is going to be a big time. So we're going to do it really big. We're going to celebrate. We're going to talk about it. But I'm also going to give back my love and gratitude to you all, because I wouldn't have been here without your support. And I am truly, truly grateful for you. So I thank you. So I pray that your February is starting off well. I am, like I said, sending you so much peace, so much love. Please find joy today. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of your Sunday, the rest of the week coming forward. I'll be back next week, like I said, with Dr. Hill, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again. So please take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.